Our next live English session will be on March 6th, and Devin Hazy will be joining us again. So that'll be a really great session with Devin. Lastly, if you're new to Parkinson's or embracing a change in your journey, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We have a very comprehensive website that addresses everything related to Parkinson's disease. That website is parkinson.org, or you can call our bilingual helpline at 1-800-4PD-INFO or email us at helpline@parkinson.org. And Jennifer's going to drop all that fun stuff in the chat for you guys. Oh, let's see. Looking in the chat, see where you guys are saying to me. Welcome from Vermont, Syracuse, New York, California. Yes, Pennsylvania. Welcome. More California. See, I love when I can point out where I've been traveling from. Hi from the UK. Welcome, Steve. Welcome back, Kirsty from Colorado. So good to see you all. Oh, Durham, North Carolina. Thanks for sharing, Jack. So please keep continuing to share. Let me pull up my notes for our session today. I've been reading this book, and I'll show you guys. Journey into Mindfulness. Am I floating? Journey into Mindfulness by Dr. Patricia Coulard. And it's really been kind of taking me back to the basics of mindfulness, and her kind of sections on how to address mindfulness has really inspired today's session on learning how to turn off, right? Which is kind of an oxymoron in Parkinson's disease because we really enjoy being on physically. So let's think about what it means to turn off outside of our Parkinson's disease. Over the weekend, I was traveling on behalf of the Parkinson's Foundation, and I often use the metaphor of being on and off, right? When I'm on, my shoulders are tall, my smile is big, my eyes are bright, my hair is perfect, the outfit's pressed, right? And that's for like 8-12 hours sometimes. And then you go off and you can relax the muscles in your face, the shoulders roll forward. I can breathe a little, right? And I can really feel what's going on versus being on. So share with me in the chat how it feels for you to be on, what it looks like for you outside of Parkinson's disease. So what are you doing in your life when you're on? And you could really benefit from maybe turning that switch of autopilot to off. Autopilot can help us achieve many tasks in a day, and sometimes we can even work on several projects at once, but we never truly multitask, not well. In fact, we inefficiently take up more time when we're trying to multitask, resulting in kind of reducing accuracy or making mistakes when we're trying to complete multiple tasks at once. So at any moment, you have the choice to turn to mindfulness. A great deal of our brain activity is left brain activation, thinking, planning, evaluating, organizing, next steps, future stuff, and so on. The philosopher Descartes said the phrase, "I think, therefore I am." What we think, we truly become, and we spend little time truly connected to our feeling senses of the right brain. So it's much easier for our thinking brains to kind of overpower what we're feeling in the moment. The thinking activity of our brains has truly one main purpose, and that's to keep us alive. It's survival, right? What's the next step to continue progressing and moving forward? Among all the mammals on the earth, we have the highest cognitively functioning brain. And because of this highly cognitive functioning brain, there's a sacrifice that we make on a daily basis. And that sacrifice is to feel emotions. we're not able to switch off the worrying. And in Parkinson's disease, anxiety and the rumination of thoughts, thinking about the uncertain future, perhaps any potential fears or dangers. And this rumination of emotions causes our nervous system. We're thinking about the nervous system deeply in Parkinson's, deeply affected by Parkinson's disease. And when we ruminate and hold on to these feelings of emotions of concern, uncertainty, it highly distresses us and it makes it much harder for us to find peace and to learn to be with whatever we're feeling. So a lot of things that comes up when we do these mindfulness sessions together is frustration, right? For many of us, because we can't find that still moment. It's hard for us to connect to what we're feeling. It's hard to have the body slow down. It's hard to embrace the tremor that you might be feeling. Mindfulness teaches us to switch off the thinking brain, and we embrace the reality of all the states of our being. We embrace the idea of change because right now, everything that you're feeling, thinking, doing is temporary. It's all going to change again and again and again. The good, the bad, the ugly, the neutral, every phase of our emotions will pass. And this moment, these feelings are only temporary. So whatever is going on in your life right now, know that it's only temporary. The practice of mindfulness helps us to find that acceptance. Mindfulness gives us a break from this distress, and we can enter moments of calm and peace through those fluctuations, the good, the bad, the ugly. And we can enjoy being alive just as we are, with Parkinson's, with our loved ones' Parkinson's, right here in this Zoom land right now. Living moment to moment, seeing and feeling, tasting and hearing without judgment and without worry. So we use mindfulness to practice pulling the brain out of thinking and doing and coming back to being and feeling. I try to remind myself to experience life rather than simply get through it. Experience life rather than simply getting through it. The goal of any mindfulness practice is to experience life as it unfolds. Sitting in your chair now, your right hand's tremoring. Maybe your wife is hugging close to your shoulder. We practice staying present and calm, and we practice stepping out of the thinking and worrying brain and coming into feeling and being. It's a lot harder to do. With meditation, we can choose many anchors to focus our thinking brain. Dr. Rush loves to use pranayama or breathing techniques, how we breathe. Anchors can range from your breathing patterns, a mantra or a prayer, an image or a sound. Anchors that hold the brain in focus. When we embrace a state of being rather than doing, we can be released from this worry, right? That Parkinson's sometimes brings up for us on a regular basis. We can release the worry mind and come into tasting this luscious moment of life that you're living right now. Are we ready to try it? Step out of thinking and doing and come into feeling and being. Okay. So if you haven't already, find a special spot, a quiet part of your home or wherever you may be joining from, the car. Hopefully you're in park. Good, take a seat where you feel comfortable and find some dignity in how you're sitting. We're not rigid like a soldier or slumping over like a person who's bored. Sit in a way that's helpful for you to be focused and aware. Good. If it feels okay for you in this moment, maybe you close your eyes. Take a swallow. Fidget around. Do what you need to find comfort. And then find your version of stillness. My version will look different from yours and those of your peers joining us. So find your version of stillness. Notice how you feel. Just check in with yourself. How are you feeling? And go beyond the simple question, how are you? So you've had your first reaction to that question, how are you? Now, how are you really? And then start to listen. What are the sounds in the space that you're sharing? What's the sound that's closest to you? Can you hear the furthest sound, perhaps beyond the walls of the room that you're sitting in? Notice what you're hearing now that you've brought your awareness to this sense of sound. Perhaps it's wind outside. For some, maybe it's rain on the window. The ticking of a clock. The sound of your breathing. Try not to judge the sounds as you hear them. Just allow the noise to be what it is. Notice how the things that you're hearing seem to be a little louder now that you've brought focus to them. Is there space between the sounds that you're hearing? Maybe the sounds are in fact internal. The beating of your heart, the sound of your swallow, perhaps some ringing in the ears. Noticing them is in fact mindfulness. And when you notice your mind wandering, just gently and without judgment, bring your awareness back to the sense of sound. What are you hearing? We're still here together in this practice of thoughtful awareness to sound. I'm going to offer a minute without the cueing of my voice so that you may practice listening to the sounds near and far. Notice how you're breathing. Maybe you lick your lips, wiggle your nose, take a swallow again. Notice how it feels just to pause. And as you feel complete, you can start to open your eyes, roll the shoulders, shake out the hands maybe. Take a deep breath. In my 6 years of working with Parkinson's, I've noticed that we become so fixated on the physical, what's happening in our bodies, that we kind of forget everything else that's going on around us. And so my intention in offering the sound meditation, hopefully, is a new way to anchor that thoughtful mind, to give us some moments to come out of the body that's affected by Parkinson's, and perhaps come back into a state of feeling and being that might be beyond the Parkinson's disease. So we did about a 9-minute meditation, and that's also been something that you all have shared with me as wanting to go a little longer. So let me know and share with me how sound meditation felt for you. Were you able to step out of the thinking mind? Did you let go of your to-do list or the rest of the activities that are on your things to do today? Yeah, Someone just wrote me constant thinking. It's interesting, especially when we offer space and time for us to listen to what's happening, right? And we call this the internal dialogue. We're always talking to ourselves. And when you sit with those thoughts, it's really interesting to start to hear what those thoughts are. So, constant thinking is okay. We're just learning how to come out of thinking. And perhaps the first step is to think a lot in the space that we're given. Good, Monica. Able to find some peace. Love sound meditation. Would like it longer. Sure, Ruth. The next time I lead our session, we can try it a little longer. Yeah. What kind of sounds were you guys hearing? I started to pick up on my dog, like smacking her mouth. I don't usually hear that, but she's. It's also very windy in Cincinnati, Ohio right now. It's very windy here. Clock ticking. Yeah, the dryer. The furnace. Raindrops. Love that. A quiet furnace. Traffic. Sometimes that can be pretty soothing for some people. My breathing. Beautiful, Ruth. That's beautiful. Well, next week, Devin will be joining us, and make sure you tune in. She has a beautiful way of bringing mindfulness that's accessible in day-to-day daily life. So mark your calendars. And maybe tonight, as you lay your head down for rest, just take a few moments to hear the sounds that surround you. And maybe those sounds aren't external, but the sound is internal. So what kind of dialogue is that inner voice sharing with you? Beautiful. All right, everyone. Always so grateful for sharing this space with you. And I'll see you guys next week. Okay? May you be well, may you be mindful, and may you find some peace. And see you next week. Goodbye, everyone.